Morning, dear hearts. Love this lesson that we have today. It is lesson 97, I Am Spirit. Please subscribe. Of course, it's an I Am lesson, and those are always pretty much favorites. However, this one is really a deep favorite of mine, and I love this lesson. I also, if you look back at the progression of the lessons that we have been having, this falls and weaves into our tapestry, our celestial spiritual tapestry, so beautifully. So today's lesson begins with, today's idea identifies you with your one self. And of course, I'm going to add your one true self. And it accepts no split identity, like we talked yesterday about the little angel and the little devil when our shoulders, going back and forth, trying to figure out which one is it that we are going to follow. Nor does this lesson try to weave opposing factors into unity. And that's what our spiritual tapestry is. It is a tapestry of unity. And this idea simply states the truth. I am spirit. And then it says to practice the truth today as often as you can. It is a joyful lesson. It's an uplifting lesson. And it tells you it'll bring your mind from conflict to the quiet fields of peace. Isn't that a beautiful visual? The quiet fields of peace, and no chill of fear can enter, and because your mind has been absolved, your mind has been cleared out of all of the madness, and we're letting go of all illusions of the split identity. We're getting rid of those two little figures on our shoulders. This lesson, it says we're simply stating the truth. We're simply stating the truth of who we are. And that's one of the reasons this lesson is so joy-filled. When we state the truth about yourself, big self, true self, the Holy Son, child of God, who rests in you, whose mind has been restored to sanity. You are the Spirit lovingly endowed with all your Father's love and peace and joy. Light and peace and joy abide in me. They live within me. They are a part of the truth of who I am. They are part of the weave of who I am and of our tapestry. You are the Spirit which completes Himself, the Spirit that completes our Father. Now in the text, in chapter 9, there is a line, it's in italics, it's prayer, that God Himself is incomplete without me. I was going to say without you. I wanted to check. God Himself is incomplete without me. Say that. God is incomplete without His child, knowing that His child is home with His Father, His celestial parent. So we complete our Father as He indeed completes us. There is no separation between us. Okay, sound familiar? So today we bring reality still closer in our mind. And then this lesson speaks about time. And it's really the collapse of time. What happens? What truly is happening when we practice? And it says, each time you practice, awareness is brought a little nearer, at least. Sometimes 1,000 years. Sometimes we can collapse time at least 1,000 years, and then it goes out and it multiplies even, because later it says, thus will each gift to Him each time we practice be multiplied 1,000-fold and tens of thousands more. This is the power of our practicing. So doesn't that sort of make you want to practice? The thing about this collapsing of time and saving of time is that each time we practice and we collapse time, we start to relieve ourselves in the belief in time, of thinking that we are time bound. So in a way, what we are doing is we are loosening the chains of time that we have held on to, the chains of time that we believe we are prisoner of, and we are not. So we are freeing ourselves from the belief in time. And each time we practice, there's this wonderful line about that each living thing. We'll get there in a minute. And it says, the miracle makes use of time, but is not ruled by it. Salvation is a miracle. The first and last, the first that is the last, for it is one. Salvation is the miracle, that forgiveness, that freedom is the only one we need. It is the one, the first one that we choose to have in our mind, so that no other miracles are necessary, because we have reached the state of atonement, at one-ment. We are one, we are free, we are filled with peace and light and joy. Salvation is the miracle, the first and the last. It tells us later that you are spirit, in whose mind abides the miracle in which all time stands still, okay? And give these miracles willingly, and count on him who promised to lay timelessness beside them. Count on him, and that is indeed the Holy Spirit. And he will offer all his strength to every little effort you make. There is that willingness. We just have to be a little willing. We have to have a little effort, and then give him the minutes that he needs today. We're still doing first 5 minutes, okay? To our practicing, okay? Give him the minutes he needs today to help you understand him, help you understand with him, that you are a spirit that abides in him and that calls through, I love this line, his voice to every living thing, offers his sight to everyone who asks, replaces error with the simple truth. Every living thing is part of God's creation. And we offer the miracle of the recognition of spirit and the collapse of time. Going into being timeless is going into being eternal and limitless. So this says, Holy Spirit will gladly take 5 minutes of each hour from your hands and carry them around this aching world where pain and misery appear to rule. This is the healing of not only our minds, because we are not separate. This is the healing of all minds, of all living things. That all living things believe they have come to die. This is the healing to all living things, the mind, to let them know that indeed they are eternal, because they are part of creation. And God did not create the limitless. God did not create the perishable. So again, we do our practicing, and it's multiplied 1,000-fold and tens of thousands more. And it tells us this will lead us out of darkness, and nor will we be able to forget the way again. Once we have relieved ourselves of the darkness, we will not go back, because we will know who we are. And here are the lines to help us to know that, to use for going into practicing. Spirit am I, a holy son of God, a holy child of God, free of all limits, safe and healed and whole, free to forgive and free to save the world. This is such two beautiful lines for us to use for our practicing, but just use them anytime that there's a temptation, anytime that you start to believe that you are indeed not part of God, to remind you that of course you are. So the Holy Spirit gives you peace today. Receive his words and offer them to him. This practice gladly as often as possible, to say, remind yourself, remember that you are spirit. I am spirit. Now, just briefly, so how does this lesson blend in to the first 50, which is, of course, what we are doing this year? Well, the word spirit does not appear in the first 50 lessons. However, the God is lessons, because when we had those, I believe I said, for at least one of them, that you can say God is, and that's all you need to say, because that is true. God is. God is not form. God is not body. God is spirit. And now we are recognizing that indeed, so are we. That's it for today. I hope this helped. I hope you're as happy with this lesson today as I am. Practice, practice joyfully. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please comment, please pray. Pray that all living things come to know the truth of who they are. What a wonderful world this can then be, and we will carry them around this aching world where pain and misery appear to rule. We will shift that. Namaste.